All right, let's talk about a scenario that is, well, frankly terrifying, but also scarily plausible. What would actually happen if the US, Israel, and Iran went to war? Today, we're going to break down just how quickly a regional fight could blow up into a full-blown global crisis.
So how does that even happen? How could a war in one part of the world suddenly cause shockwaves that hit everything from the price you pay for gas to the food in your grocery store? It's a question that keeps a lot of people up at night, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
I mean, just imagine waking up and hearing those words on the news. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But this isn't just some far-fetched idea. It's a scenario built on decades, and I mean decades of tension. This is the moment that a conflict that's been simmering forever finally boils over. And to really get why, we've got to rewind a bit and look at the history, and just as important, the map.
Okay, so first up, let's get the lay of the land, both geographically and historically, to see how we even got to this flashpoint.
So the first thing you really have to wrap your head around is just how huge Iran is. We're talking about a country with 90 million people, a country bigger than France, Germany, and Spain put together, and its location, absolutely critical. It's basically the crossroads between Asia and the Middle East.
Okay, so where does all this bad blood come from? For the modern story, you have to go back to 1979 and the Islamic Revolution. This one event completely changed Iran. It set up a whole new government that declared the United States its greatest enemy and completely rejected the existence of Israel. And just like that, the battle lines were drawn for the next several decades.
So, fast forward to today and look at the military picture. The U.S. has military bases pretty much all around Iran. Israel is only about 1,000 kilometers away. The bottom line is, everybody is within missile range of everybody else. Then you throw in the huge, contentious issue of Iran's nuclear program, and you've got a region that is basically living on a knife's edge all the time.
Okay, so in a neighborhood this dangerous, how does a country like Iran punch back? Well, it basically has a two-part strategy, its own direct military might and a really powerful web of allies.
Let's start with part one, its own military. Over the years, Iran has built up a seriously impressive arsenal of missiles and drones. We're talking weapons that can fly anywhere from a few hundred to a few thousand kilometers. That gives them the power to hit targets basically anywhere in the region.
But honestly, its indirect power is just as important, if not more so. This is what's known as the axis of resistance. Now, this isn't some formal treaty alliance. Think of it more as a network of militias that Iran backs up with money and weapons. For Iran, these groups are like a forward defense system. It's a really smart strategy, actually, because it lets them fight back against powerful enemies without having to declare an all-out war themselves. They can bog their rivals down in messy, complicated fights, all while keeping the actual battles far away from Iranian soil.
And this network is, well, it's everywhere. You've got Hezbollah up in Lebanon, right on Israel's northern border, and they have something like 100,000 rockets. No joke. Then you've got Hamas in Gaza to the south. Over in Iraq and Syria, there are militias that can threaten U.S. troops. And way down in Yemen, the Houthis sit on some of the world's most important shipping routes. It's a whole web designed to put pressure on their enemies from pretty much every direction.
All right, so let's get back to our main scenario. The match has been lit. Now let's see how fast the whole thing goes up in flames.
So it starts with this, a huge, coordinated wave of strikes from the U.S. and Israel. They hit critical sites all over Iran. And then comes the biggest blow of all. They kill the supreme leader.
Iran's response is immediate, and it is massive. And they don't just go after military targets, no. They hit civilian spots. Think luxury hotels, airports. They hit critical oil facilities in neighboring countries. And there's a cold logic to this. The goal is to cause so much economic pain that those Gulf countries turn around and pressure the U.S. to back off. And just like that, the war isn't just in Iran anymore, it explodes, with fighting breaking out from Lebanon all the way to the Indian Ocean.
And this is the moment the regional war becomes everyone's problem. This is where it starts to hit you, personally, in your wallet, no matter where you live.
To get how this works, we need to talk about something called choke points. The name says it all, really. Imagine them like the major arteries for the entire global economy. They're these narrow sea lanes that are absolutely vital for shipping everything: oil, gas, food, you name it. And if one of them gets blocked, the whole system can have a heart attack.
And the number one most critical choke point in this whole scenario is the Strait of Hormuz. It's literally right on Iran's doorstep. Now just try to get your head around this number. Every single day, 20%
1/5 of the entire world's oil and gas supply sails through this one little waterway. And get this, at its narrowest, it's only 39 kilometers wide. That makes it a huge vulnerability. It's so easy for a military to disrupt shipping there, or even shut it down completely.
Yeah, so for Iran, having control over this strait is a massive strategic advantage. It's their trump card. By messing with the shipping, they can cause instant economic chaos for the rest of the world. Oil prices would go through the roof, and that means you pay more at the gas pump. Businesses everywhere face higher costs. It's how they force the world to sit up and take notice.
And it doesn't stop there. Remember those Houthi allies in Yemen? Well, they sit right on another critical choke point, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. When they start attacking ships there, it forces cargo ships to take the long, expensive way around Africa instead of using the Suez Canal. The result? Total chaos for global supply chains. Inflation goes up on pretty much everything, from your phone to your groceries, and it even becomes a threat to global food security.
So let's say, eventually, the shooting stops. What happens then? Well, the long-term fallout could actually be worse than the war itself.
Politically, things would be a mess. Iran would be totally isolated in a region where, let's be honest, it didn't have many friends to begin with. Any trust that existed would be shattered, making it almost impossible to talk, to de-escalate, to do any kind of diplomacy.
And that's really the key thing to understand here. Just because the fighting ends doesn't mean the crisis is over. Not even close. The bitterness, the broken economies, the deep distrust, that stuff sticks around for years, maybe even for decades. There's no quick fix, no easy road back to anything resembling stability.
All of this really leaves us with one big final question to think about. When you see how missile strikes in one country can lead to shipping chaos on the other side of the planet, it really makes you wonder. In the world we live in today, a world that's so hyper-connected, is it even possible for a major war to ever truly stay local?